Hey y'all, I got a little pep in my step today. This video is going to cover quite a few topics. The first one being the scandal that is the continuing trend of Korean celebrities coming out of left field with wives and children on the way. So we first are introduced to this random concept with Chen in what I believe was 2020. Actor Song Joong Ki of Descendants of the Sun and Vincenzo, which are his most notable roles, at least to me, is apparently married and also expecting a baby. And this announcement is much like the way Chen did it. I feel like K-pop idols are known for being very secretive about their relationships for good reason, because Sasang fans exist, and there was a whole thing in the Korean entertainment industry where people were sending like teddy bears to their favorite idols with like their blood on it and with cameras in it. So I get the caution, but Song Joong Ki is an actor, and I mean, like all the other K-pop idols, still, he's a grown-ass man. So all I gotta say is that if Gongyu or Lee Dong-wook just comes out of left field like, yeah, we're both married and we have children on the way, or we had secret families this whole time, I'ma unalive myself. Anyways, to the actual topic of this video, I want to talk about Korean dramas. I have watched plenty. It consumed most of my life between 2013, 2014, up until like 2017. And let me tell you why I stopped watching Korean dramas in around 2017. It's because of the worst drama that I've ever watched in my life, called Abyss. It's a Korean drama whose main actors are An Hyo-seop and Park Bo-young, and it came out in 2019. Wow, I thought it came out in 2017. And it's probably the worst Korean drama I've ever watched in my life. I didn't even finish it. I was so mad. How do you have such amazing production quality and then the plot is so dumb and every character is Dumb and Dumber? Everyone was colorblind, acting like they could not see a million red flags over everyone that they interacted with. It was painfully stupid. And for it to have come out in 2019, it's disappointing, to say the least. Abyss was just, I wanted to hurt somebody after wasting so much of my life watching that drama. Like, honestly, one of the worst Korean dramas I've ever watched. The other drama that came out after this that was equally as bad to me was It's Okay to Not Be Okay. It was so boring. I don't know about everybody else. I like mystery, kind of suspense dramas. I loved the comedy that they had going on in the beginning with Soyeji's character, but my god, that was boring. And I liked her humor and her straightforwardness and her, like, I don't write about princesses, like, I write about witches. I was intrigued. I love the whole dark children's storytelling concept. And then they ruined it with just super slow burn romance. But even more than that, it was like the revelation of her narcissistic crazy mother coming back and not being dead the whole time wasn't a revelation to me. I don't know if it was for everybody else, but I personally was like, it's kind of obvious if you had the whole country looking for one person. So I was like, oh, if they ain't found her mama after all this time, she must still be alive. She must have just dipped out the country somehow. It was just a whole lot of mess to me. It was just a lot of unnecessary camera work, which I understand is also like a staple in Korean dramas, but it was just overdone and it was not paced well, in my opinion. It just wasn't good to me. I love psychological Korean dramas as well, because in my experience, the ones that they've done in 2013 to 2014 were great. When you had Hi Jekyll and Me, Kill Me, Heal Me, It's Okay, That's Love coming out in 2014. All of these dramas were psychological based and focused, with various mental disorders being addressed in them, and I really liked them, right? You had Good Doctor, which was a fantastically done Korean drama. there's a couple staple Korean dramas, a handful of dramas that people were like, if you haven't watched this, you haven't really watched Korean dramas. You haven't truly entered the world of Korean dramas if you haven't watched Airs, right? If you haven't watched Coffee Prince, if you haven't watched or Rooftop Prince, if you haven't watched Boys Over Flowers is the main one that I'm talking about, because that entire thing is Stockholm Syndrome. This girl was bullied, had crap thrown at her like the first week of school. She was already broke. And you just, like in the original anime, it's actually originally a Japanese manga or anime, I believe. And I saw it first on YouTube, the animated version. And I'm sitting here like, I would have just been here, like, I would have transferred schools. There's no way I would have stayed at that school being treated like that. It was so unnecessary. And then he gonna tie her. He tied her to the back of his car and dragged her ass around the school parking lot, and no one did anything. He attempted to rape her in the middle of the school hallway. And he was like, look around. My dad basically owns the school and everyone who works in it. You see, these teachers are looking through the windows and they're not going to do anything. They're not going to help you. You can scream all you want and they're going to ignore you. And I'm sitting here thinking, this is wild. Like, I wonder how this revenge plot is going to go. Because she has to, like, this has to go towards revenge, right? I was like, this is the most interestingly named revenge thriller plot anime that I've ever, stumbled across on YouTube. And then to find that she falls in love with the man. And I feel like it's dramas like that that made it okay for people to introduce manhwa, like Killing Stalking, that to be such a popular thing that so many people have read and reference and even enjoy, which is so weird to me. But a lot of like early Korean dramas was a lot of questionable behavior and acts of love or romance that I'm like, that's breaking and entering. Like, you're literally stalking this chick and she just gave up. And I can't lie. I'm not gonna be a fake person and act like I didn't enjoy those dramas the same way everyone else did when I first saw them. And then no more than a couple months later, you're realizing this is all very suspect, uncomfortable behavior. Because the same stuff happened to you in real life. Like, oh, I found your contact and your address from one of your classmates. You would be thrown off. And Korean dramas just they made abuse. They made emotional abuse. They made Stockholm Syndrome look cute. Which, now that people are more aware that it's unacceptable behavior, they can't get away with it in the same way that they used to. But if you go back and rewatch old dramas, you're like, these girls were out here getting abused left and right. And they were romanticizing abuse. So it's all very interesting, but I just have to say that, like, if you want to get into Korean dramas, don't start with those handful that everybody claims you have to watch. Because Airs was literally just Cinderella. Like, and a lot of Korean dramas are that exact same concept. The story still plays out how you would expect it to. If you want to watch interesting Korean dramas, you gotta watch, like, the weird stuff. Or the stuff that seems, like, just odd. So, like, W is, I would say, is a good drama to watch. Although the ending was kind of confusing to me, right? You gotta watch things like It's Okay That's Love, the psychological dramas. Secret Love from 2013 was one of the most... It was another drama of very clear abuse. Emotional and mental abuse, but they didn't sugarcoat it. They didn't dress it up like it was something that it wasn't. It's still Stockholm Syndrome. The main girl still falls in love with a dude who found her and essentially started the relationship and any type of contact with her out of the desire for vengeance. And he abused her and used her and basically signed her into a slave contract, but at that point she had already lost everything, so she didn't give a crap. And it was, like I said, the very same concept of like Stockholm Syndrome. And they even had a quote in there, it was like they were referencing Wuthering Heights or something like that, and they were like, I think it's so interesting love that turned into revenge. And he's like, okay, but what if revenge turns into love? And I'm like, it's already a concept, dude. It's called Stockholm Syndrome. It's called people falling in love with and creating mental and emotional attachments to their abusers. But still, like, a wonderful performance by the leading female, by the leading lady, an actress. Korea's Meryl Streep to me. The way she was crying over some of the stuff that happened in her life, I'm like, sis, you stronger than me, because I would have been checked off of Earth. And they had her selling it, and I believed it. So that was a very good drama to watch. I would recommend Vincenzo with Song Joong Ki, who's clearly just full of surprises and versatility, as we now see. Steer clear of dramas really from like 2017 and 2019. There was very few good dramas that I feel like came out in that time period, versus the golden age of Korean entertainment, in my opinion, was 2011 to 2014. This is when you had Big Bang, BTS, EXO, everybody was out. Everybody was coming out with albums, great music, year round. In the beginning, like in 2011, 2012, it was kind of like a back and forth basis, like a rotation with Korean entertainment, and that when dramas were popular, which was typically in the winter and fall seasons because it's cold, people are indoors, they want to snuggle, they want to warm up and watch romance dramas, they were really good. And then when spring and summer came around, K-pop was popping. So it was like a rotation. But between like 2013 and 2014, they said, F all y'all, we're going to come out with the best that we can year round. K-pop was amazing. I mean, we had BTS debut in 2013. We had EXO coming out with Growl. We had like Big Bang, like GD and Taeyeon coming out with Good Boy in 2014 to 2015. It was a very good time for Korean entertainment. And if you want great dramas, I suggest looking backwards, like going back in time to older dramas. If you want a good drama that's actually funny, that isn't super like stiff, rigid, and just unnecessarily like filtered, go back to 2011. Go back to about 2011 through 2014, 2015. The biggest drama of 2016 was Goblin, and then everything else kind of just dropped off after that. And, you know, if you want to cry your eyes out and have your heart broken a couple times over, you can watch either Descendants of the Sun or Scarlet Heart Goryeo. They'll pull on your heartstrings for sure. Like, those are really good dramas to watch. Other than that, just steer clear from dramas like Abyss. Like, it's okay to not be okay. The only thing that saved that drama was her wardrobe. That's it. Stay clear of dramas like the K2. We love Ji Chang-wook. The problem is, it was so half-assed in the writing in every other aspect except for the evil queen character, who honestly was the baddest chick to have ever done it. In my opinion, I was rooting for her and they did my girl so dirty. But if you want something that's like espionage and actually worth watching, you can watch Vincenzo. You can watch things like The Technicians, for instance, with Kim Woo-bin. You can watch a lot of movies over dramas with action and espionage, but the K2 was just not giving. A lot of people recommend the drama or are excited about the drama because of that scene, when in actuality, it's not well written. For instance, Yuna, the young Yuna who played in that show, clearly someone paid off the director and casting crew, and they was like, we're not funding this project if you don't throw her in this plot. She served no purpose other than to F everything up at every turn for no reason. She had the social skills and intelligence of a 10-year-old, and then you had our male lead falling in love with her, which I thought was very suspicious and gross. I felt some type of way about that. And then you have our older Yuna, who is evil queen of the K2, and she is the baddest chick to have ever done it. She was threatening people's lives. She had no second thoughts about killing her brother. Chef's kiss. We love strong female leads, and even if they're supposed to be evil, like, you can't make me feel like she was really evil. Because she simply went after everything that was rightfully hers. And she did it with such poise and just beautiful fierceness and viciousness. And I'm like, I want to be like you when I grow up. That is my review of Korean dramas, a brief history of Korean dramas, and brief, I guess, reaction to Song Joong Ki's marriage news. So yeah, stay tuned for next time, whatever the topic may be. Thanks for watching.